What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Prison Break Resurrection, as I've seen it being called now. Season 1, Episode 4. There will be another season, I'm not sure. The Prisoner's Dilemma. Yeah. As I'm watching this, I'm starting to get a feeling of a one and done season. Like they decided, oh, we can't just kill Michael off and have a sad ending there. Let's actually give him a happy ending. And so that's how the season came about, and it feels like it's just going to be he goes through this season's plot, and then that's how it ends, and there won't be another season after this. Don't know if that's true or not, but based on kind of what happens in this episode, that's the feeling I'm starting to get. We're in the fourth episode now, and they've already broken out of prison. We've already seen the strange, weird, secretive government corporation that they're going to be fighting against, Poseidon. Apparently, he's an agent, and they show the Asian guy. So clearly, there is something going on. We already found out that they had something to do with why Michael was framed as Canulatus, and so we already know who's behind it. We already know who they're going up against, and now they've already broken out of prison. So yeah, it's only 4 episodes in. It already feels like we've gone through what normally a full season would feel like. So I don't really know how I feel about it. I assume as we get through the season, as the story continues to progress, there will be a moment where I'll be like, okay, that was really good, or they should have taken more time there. Don't know how I feel about it right now, though. What I do know is this is feeling like a very much this is the plot of the season, and then this is all you're gonna get. Enjoy it while you can, because there's not going to be much more after this. The other thing that kind of I got a feeling of in this episode is it once again returned to kind of season 5 of Prison Break. And in that, what I mean is, it's very much a you can't trust anyone until you can, until you can't, until you can, until you can't. Kind of how I feel here. Like, oh yeah, you can trust that guy. Oh, but he's betrayed you. Oh, you can trust that guy. Oh, but he's betrayed you. Oh, but he didn't actually betray you. It was somebody else that betrayed you. Yeah, why? Like, I understand you want to make it kind of shocking at times. Like they're helping this Amal guy get out of prison, but they're trying to betray him at the same time. So this Jaw guy who's just like, he's completely talking against Michael. Like, oh, dude, I'm hungry. I just want some fruit. Michael's like, you know what? Just leave him. If your guys see him, they could kill him. And you're just like, okay, well, you can't trust him anymore. And then all of a sudden they go into the back alleyway. Amal's men surround them. And then here comes Jock coming in. Apparently he was part of Michael's plan. It's like, oh, so we can trust him, but we can't trust them all now. It's okay. And then on Sarah's side, it looked like we could trust Kellerman, but then all of a sudden her phone's getting hacked using her thumbprint. And it's like, oh, well, she had water at his office, so we can't trust him anymore. And then all of a sudden, Bagwell goes to see him in this episode, and he's like, it's not me, it's Poseidon's a different agent, I don't know who he is. And then they show the Asian agent, and it's just like, oh, so we can't trust Kellerman, and then he's dead. It's like, oh, we can't trust him anymore because he's dead. So, just stick with it. Let us trust or not trust somebody, and then that's it. Stop going back and forth, because it kind of gives you a bit of whiplash. Like one moment it looks like you can trust somebody, and then all of a sudden you can't, and now I'm lost. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me that doesn't like that, but it really can get bogged down whenever they start to do that whole like faking you out thing more than once in one episode. It can get really, really frustrating to watch. Aside from those two things, however, the rest of it was really good. I really enjoy getting to see Michael sort of back in his whole I'm breaking out of prison idea mode type thing. The frustration whenever somebody's not listening to him, so he has to yell to get his idea through. Getting to see Lincoln, show up at the nick of time and save the day. Be that sort of brotherly figure to Michael. Getting to see them reunite again was a lot of fun, and even Bagwell had kind of a role in this. I still don't like him, still wish he died, but at the same time, he did have a bit of a role to play in this episode. So all of it was really, really good. It was still enjoyable, still the enjoyable Prison Break formula that I love to watch, in kind of a different sort of environment as well. Going through a civil war is much different than, oh, you have a guard that doesn't like you. No, this is something completely different, and they're doing a really good job with that. A couple things that really worked in this episode. One, I think the scene where Amal and his men have trapped them in the alleyway, it definitely felt very intense. It felt like somebody might die. weren't sure who was gonna die. So when Lincoln shows up and he's on the top of the truck with the gun ready to shoot everybody, Amal's got Michael, knife to his neck, and then Whip just steps in and he just talks him down, kind of catches him off guard, and then manages to grab the knife and stab him and kill Amal. And so it's just like, okay, you've just killed the leader of ISIL. And sure enough, at the end of the episode, we hear that apparently they've declared war on the people who killed their leader. So this is going to make things a lot more difficult, not just to get out of the prison, but now it's like you're escaping a country. So it's almost like they upped the ante a little bit, where it was just, oh, we're breaking out of this prison, with these people. Now it's, we're trying to break out of the country because it's pretty much become a prison for us. So I really like how they kind of turned that around and made like, oh, you thought they were escaping, but in truth, they're not done yet. So I'm going to enjoy seeing how they're going to be able to get out unscathed, because it seems like it's going to be very hard to do that. Another scene that I really did enjoy was getting to see Kellerman kind of be that I guess loyal agent to the end. I've never really been a big fan of Kellerman, but in this episode he did have his time to shine, unfortunately right before he died. But seeing the agents come in and he's just like, I was in your place one time, dying for a lie. And he's just like, no, you're dying for the truth. And then shot him and killed him. I don't know, it was a nice moment for Kellerman. I think it was a good way to send off his character as well, because it's nice to see how far he's come from being that kind of dirty, backstabbing agent that we couldn't really trust at first in the original show. So the final thing, I guess, that really worked for me was, I guess, getting to see Lincoln go through these different steps. Some of it seemed like it may have been just like, oh, well, we can't have Lincoln get into the prison yet, so let's have him chase after this guy with keys. But to be honest, it kind of does show how hard it would be to make it through all of that. Now, the guy locking the gate didn't make a whole lot of sense. If you really think about it, it's like, well, why would you lock everybody else in there and only you escape? But he manages to make it out. Lincoln has to go track him down, and then he ends up getting shot. So now Lincoln has to use this kid to go get the keys. And so he manages to get to it, and then by the time he finally gets back in there, Michael's escaping by another route. So I don't know. It was just nice to see that Lincoln was willing to do whatever it takes. Even though it kept getting harder, things kept popping up, barriers kept getting in his way. He kept going. He kept moving. It's just, I love seeing a character that's not willing to quit, and Lincoln is one of those characters. So on to, I guess, two main things that didn't really work for me. These are things that are outside of kind of the Prison Break formula, like the plot for this season or the constant changing of who can we trust. These two things from this episode just didn't really work for me. One is the guy that was antagonizing Michael and all the other guys. The one that he tried to get to help break him out of the cell earlier and didn't want to work with him. After we learn that apparently he didn't want to work with Michael, it kind of makes his motivation a little bit shakier. At first it felt like, oh, Michael told him about the plan, but then betrayed him, and so now he doesn't trust Michael anymore, so now it kind of makes sense. But to be honest, he didn't listen to Michael. He didn't want to work with him. He didn't want to do his plan. And so, because of that, they weren't able to escape. And so, whenever Michael's trying to escape later, and he is trying to get his brother through, and his brother gets killed by Amal, all of a sudden now he hates Michael. I'm just like, wait, your brother died because you were too dumb to escape the first time, and Amal is the one that shot him. So why do you hate Michael again? Because he wouldn't let your brother escape with him? Even though you didn't want to escape with him the first time? Like, you do realize this is kind of on you. On top of that, what's his name? The kid, Sid's his name. For some reason, he was in the general population with everybody else. I don't know, that doesn't feel right to me. Just because everybody was trying to escape, and he was a part of that. He was in the cell with everybody trying to escape, and so you'd think he would be a part of this whole solitude or whatever they call it. But he wasn't. He wasn't in solitary. There's the word. He was just out there with everybody else, which of course gives them a moment to be like, oh no, he's gonna get killed by this guy that hates Michael, and I don't know, it just didn't. It felt kind of forced into the plot where it felt like that guy that's antagonizing Michael and Sid would both probably be in solitary as well because they were both in the cell where the escape was happening. But that didn't happen. It was just the four, Maul, Michael, Whip, and Ja. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit, but it felt kind of forced in there. Like we need some reason for them to have to get out of there quickly, and so in pops this one guy that hates Michael. He ends up dying though, and Amal ends up dying. So it's almost like all the I guess the antagonists in Syria are now dying, or not Syria, Yemen, whatever. Um, but I don't know, that part of it did kind of bug me. But overall, like I said, this was a really good episode. And going forward, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do, how they're gonna manage to escape the country, how are they gonna push on from here, what's gonna be the next plan in place. So many questions to ask. I'm looking forward to seeing what answers they've got for us. So that's all from me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe. Future Prison Break Resurrection reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.